Steven here from My PLC Training with another video to help you become a confident PLC programmer and advance your career into controls and automation. Got a cold today, so bear with me, but this one's interesting. Over the past year, 25 people in our program have landed jobs in industrial automation and controls. That's the ones I know about. There may be actually more. These are electricians, techs, engineers, people generally with a decade or more of field experience in their field, not in PLCs, and they've never officially programmed a PLC on the job generally. And the ones who got hired weren't always the best programmers in the room. They were just better prepared for the conversation that actually matters to the interviewer. So today I'm going to break down exactly what worked, who this is for. So first things first, to get hired in automation, you do need technical skills. You need to actually know how to program a PLC, and that's what our training program covers. And I'll put a link below if you want to check the program out. But let's say you've got that down, you got the technical skills, you put in the work, you got the training, you understand ladder logic, Studio 5000. The hard part is still walking into an interview for a job you haven't officially held in the past and making a strong enough case for them to take a chance on you. So that's what we're covering today. Most people preparing for a PLC interview go straight to technical prep, ladder logic, timers, motor starters, and we've got videos on all that, and we'll link some of those below. But the question that actually gets people hired or rejected isn't always a technical one. It's often something like this. Tell me about a time at work where you had to troubleshoot a problem. Walk me through what you did and what the result was. Most people hear that and freeze, not because they don't have the experience. They've sometimes got 10, 20 years of it, but a lot of times they just haven't thought about how to package it as a story. So interviewing is kind of like taking a test. It's a skill that you need to develop so that you can get a job. It seems kind of ridiculous. You might have learned a bunch of stuff, but the actual taking the test part is a skill in itself. And if you don't know how to pass that test, then you're not going to get the job. So we're going to talk about this method that we recommend that our students use called the STAR method. And Parker, our career coach, this is something he does with each student that's trying to get a job in controls and automation. S is situation or the context of the problem or the situation that you encountered. T is the task, which would be your specific role in the situation. A is the action that you actually did, and R is the result, what happened because of it. So here's what this looks like with a real example. Let's say you're a maintenance tech with 15 years of experience interviewing for a controls technician role. The interview asks you, tell me about a time you had to solve a complex problem under pressure. So most people say something like, yeah, I've dealt with a lot of downtime situations over the years, and maybe kind of trail off, and they don't really give a specific example to allow the interviewer to picture what they're talking about. So if you use the STAR method, it might sound like this. We had a packaging line go down at 11 p.m. on a Friday. Production couldn't run, so that's the situation. Task, I was a senior tech on call. My job was to diagnose it and get us back up. Action, I pulled up the PLC fault log, isolated the issue to an analog input card, reading out of range, swapped the card, recalibrated the sensor, and ran a test cycle. The result was the line was back up in 40 minutes and there was no lost shifts. So situation, task, action, result. So it's the same person, same experience, but it leaves a completely different impression on the interviewer because you told the story clearly. And believe it or not, being able to communicate well like that helps people understand what you're capable of, and it shows them that you're good at communicating. So it's a double whammy. So STAR doesn't require you to exaggerate anything. It just gives you your experience a shape that the interviewer can actually track in their minds as you're explaining it and remember. Most people prep one story, but that's not enough. You want 3 scenarios ready before you walk in. Your primary story maps as close as possible to PLC and automation work. It doesn't have to be exact. Obviously, if you don't have on-the-job experience. With PLCs, you're not going to be able to say, I did this with the PLC. But you want to, if you have experience with the equipment connected to the PLC, or troubleshooting the wiring on a control system, dealing with unplanned downtime, commissioning or modifying something on a plant floor, that's what you want to lead with. Your second is a backup story. So maybe it's a project you led or a time you had to pick up an unfamiliar system quickly. So you want to take a different angle and show competence under pressure. This is not so much about talking about something you did related to PLCs and controls, but more about talking about how you handled the pressure and explaining it in a format that makes sense. So your third one is a reserve in case the interview runs long and they're kind of pushing you for extra information. Your homework, write out those 3 situations from your career that you're proud of, anything involving troubleshooting, unplanned downtime, or solving a problem that had real stakes. And you've definitely got them if you've been, doing this for 10 years or more. You just need to pull them out and structure them. All right, let's talk about LinkedIn versus Indeed. Most of our hires in our program didn't come from Indeed. They actually came from LinkedIn. So recruiters in industrial automation are actively searching the platform for people with your background, and they're typing in controls technician, Tennessee, or PLC maintenance, Florida, reviewing profiles. If yours isn't optimized for those searches, you're not showing up. When you apply on Indeed, you're competing with 100 other applicants and usually get an automated rejection. On LinkedIn, you can connect directly sometimes with the hiring manager attached to a job posting, send them a message with your application, and actually get a response from a real person. So that's a big difference. When we start working with a student on career prep, LinkedIn comes first. Before the resume, before job listings, get your profile right, and you'll start getting inbound messages from recruiters, which is a much better position than chasing applications. So you can set up your own LinkedIn account or polish it up if you need to. And obviously we can help with that. If you join our accelerator program, that's one of the things we do. All right, how about the AI question? We get this question from our students. Sometimes, students tell me they're being asked about it in interviews now too. Will AI replace PLC programmers? The answer is no, not anytime soon anyway. The companies deploying AI at scale still need PLCs running the physical processes underneath. Although AI can be used to help with developing PLC code, it has to be used within a cohesive system and controlled by a really smart person that knows what to do. You don't know what you don't know, so not just anybody can go in and say, okay, AI, write me code to control this machine, and know if it's going to be the right thing. So you're still going to have people involved in this. AI is going to be a tool, but not replacing controls engineers anytime soon. So more automation from AI is going to mean more manufacturing, more data centers, more power plants, and stuff to maintain, program, troubleshoot when something goes wrong at 11 p.m. So demand for the skills actually going up. So if it comes up in your interview, if they're asking you, are you concerned about AI replacing your job? You could just say, I see AI increasing demand for what I do. More automated systems means more programming and maintenance work, and that's what I'm trained for. Then just move on to the next question. So you don't need to be scared by that one. Now, do you want somebody to actually run this whole process with you that I'm talking about? The LinkedIn, the interviewing process, the STAR method. That's what our CPPA program includes. This is our Confident PLC Programmer Accelerated. We have a dedicated career coach, Parker, who works one-on-one with every student. He helps you build your own personal STAR stories, optimizes your LinkedIn, curates job listings based on your location and target role, and coaches you through evaluating offers when they come in. So we've had, in the past 12 months, 97 students report positive career outcomes. So those aren't all job placements. Some of those people are just, maybe a promotion at work, or they're now using PLCs with confidence. So that's kind of the technical side we help with. But among those 97 is 25 new job placements that our students have achieved. And there may be more, but those are the ones I've recorded. So there's a link in the description if you want to learn more about what it looks to work with us. Okay, before you go, the 3 things to remember: the STAR method, tell me about a time question, answer it with the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result, and have 3 scenarios ready to go. Practice it out loud before you walk in for sure. That makes a big difference. And then with the 3 scenarios, have a primary, backup, and 1 in reserve. Pick the one you're most proud of that you're going to lead with, and then have those others just in case they need extra. And then LinkedIn, get it optimized before you start applying. Let recruiters find you, and that's the system. Again, if you want those technical skills and the career coaching to help you get a role in controls and automation, that's what we do. You can learn more about our accelerated program in the link below. Hope this was useful. If so, subscribe. We'll put out more content like this on PLCs and building a career in automation. Talk to you next time.